Welcome. In this session, we will learn one more way to write the script files in Matlab, and these are called user-defined functions in Matlab. User-defined function in Matlab. Now, what do we mean by user-defined function, or simply what do we mean by functions? Now, we have seen Matlab has several inbuilt functions. There are several inbuilt functions in Matlab. For example, if I say sine d of 90 means if I want to see what is the sine of 90. Now this is sine 90, we know already it's equal to 1. No, we already know this. This is equal to 1. So this sine d is already an inbuilt function in MATLAB. Same way, if I say a is 1, 2, and if I type sum of a, this will give me the sum of these numbers. So sum is an inbuilt function in MATLAB. Same way, if I type mean of A, this will give the mean of these two numbers. 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 by 2 is 1.5. So these are inbuilt functions in MATLAB. Now in this session, we learn how to define user-defined functions in MATLAB. Now to create user-defined functions, we write the code like this. We use the editor window to write the code. Same editor window, but inside this editor window, the first line is always function, that output variables, and these output variables are written in square braces. These output variables are mentioned in square braces. Function name, so this is user defined function name and input variables. So inside these small braces, we write input variables are input arguments. So this is the first line of this user-defined function always. Next, you can put comments and other code there. You can put the comments or the information about this function. So you can see this information about this function that you have created. Next, we define the body or the lines of code you want to put inside this function, or whatever this function is doing. For example, it is doing sum, it's product, so on. So you can define these functions. Now to illustrate this, let me create one function in MATLAB. So this is our MATLAB. So these functions are written in editor window. To open editor window, you type either edit and hit enter, or you click on this new script button. So if I enter this, so this is the now first line is always this function, and let me define a function which calculates the sum and product. So if I say sum comma p, so this will give me the sum and p. S will store sum, p will store the product between the numbers. So my sum product. So the name of this function is my sum product, and I'll say the input variables are a comma b. So this is the first line here. Now then you can put the information about this. This function calculates the sum and product of two numbers a and b. Remember, this won't be executed. This is only for the user, and you can say S is the output sum and is the product between A and B. So this is just user information. This is not the code. This won't be executed by it is MATLAB. All right. So what we are going to do, we are going to say S is A plus B and P is A times B. So we are going to provide A and B. This function will calculate the sum and product between these two numbers. Then what we do, we save this function. So next is to save this function. So you can check This may not be visible. Matlab will give you a window that looks like this. I hope this is visible. Okay, I hope this is visible. Now this may be visible to you. Now this is the name of this file. You can say save and this will be saved. Now let me switch back to Matlab. So this is Matlab. Now what I'm going to do, if I say my on command window, if I type my sum pro, and if I say A is supposed to, B is 3, and if I hit enter, this will execute this function. So this will call this function and execute. So this you know answer some sum of this and this is all right. So this is now next what we are going to do. We are going to say write it like this, means provide me this, your first variable is see here MATLAB gave you only one answer, means it gave you the output only as one variable. Now to check all the variables, you have to first to inform MATLAB that I want both the variables, meaning both the outputs this time. So it says my sum row, and if I say 2 comma 3, this will give me now that. So you can see S is 5, P is 6. S is sum, P is 5. Now one more thing I want to illustrate here is this. Now if you write, this is termed as a documentation about there. Now if you say doc and sorry, let me write it like this, help sum. If you type this, MATLAB gives you some kind of this information about this. What is this sum function doing? Now this, remember, sum is the MATLAB's inbuilt function. We are checking what do you mean by documentation here. You see MATLAB informs you sum is an inbuilt function. Sum is the sum of the elements of the vector x, whatever is in x. This sum function does x, and so on. So this does the sum. So same way, now the function that is created by us, if you type, let me go back. If you type help my product, if you type this, MATLAB will inform you, give you this information. So MATLAB will simply give you these lines of whatever you have written, means the information about this. If I hit enter, you can see this function creates a sum, whatever I have written. So this is useful information, means if you write the code, then later on give it to someone else. So this may be useful for him. He or she may understand what you have written actually there. So this is very, very important. So this is termed as a documentation. So you can put the documentation inside these comments, and this documentation is followed only after this line of code. Then you can write this documentation. Same way. Now one more way to execute this. See, if I say my variable f is f is 10, and my variable g is 5, let's say. Now if I say like this, sum pro, and I can say what are the names of the variables, f and g. So you don't need to pass the same variables here. One more thing is you can type it, you can change the name of output variables, my sum, my product. So whatever the sum means a plus b, here the variables are now f and g. That will f plus g will be stored in my sum, and f multiplied by g will be stored in my product. Now if you hit it, you can see my sum is, means the output is stored in this my sum and my product, and you didn't pass the variables a and b. So you can just type pass the variables like this, means f and g, instead of this ab. So you don't need to every time mention the whatever variables you define. Here you have to just pass whatever is in f, whatever is in, and you can pass these at arrays as well. Let me give you an example. Suppose a is 1 2, so this is my one array. B is, so let's suppose 1 2, so same array. So these are same. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to try a comma p, and this will add these arrays. You can check. So all right, so there is one error. Now what's the error? Because this can't do the dot this time, this multiplication. and this multiplication is not possible because that there's a dimensional error. So you can put a dot there, then say there. Now you can see this is true. Do you can see sum of these arrays is 1 2, b is this, and you can see the sum between these two. A is 1, b is 1, so it will be 2. A is 2, this is 2, so this is 2. 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, and product of these element wise product means 1 multiplied by 1 is 1, 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. So this is how we create functions in MATLAB. So this is how we create functions in MATLAB. All right, so let me end this session here. In the next session, we'll see one more way to this other function, the user-defined function that we'll create in the next. That will be about convolution. So next, we'll discuss how to perform the convolution operation between two arrays in MATLAB, or two signals in, or two sequences in MATLAB. All right, let me end it here.